Backstabs, chair shots, and shattered alliances. That's WWE for you. Trust means nothing here. The guy who says, bro, to your face is as loyal as that woman who swore to love you forever. This business thrives on betrayal. Sit back and relax, because we're going to talk about the 10 biggest rats in WWE history. 10. Triple H turns on Shawn Michaels during their DX reunion. It's time to play the game. A game of the biggest motherfucker, the DX reunion. That sweet moment when two legends come together for a nostalgic trip down memory lane. But here's the thing. Nostalgia has a way of making us think that old wounds have healed. And these two, they were like the rock stars of WWE, ready to drop some serious bombs and relive the glory days. Then, in one hug, yes, that's right, a hug, everything went south faster than you can say Monday Night Raw. The signature pedigree that left us all sitting there, blinking in disbelief like, wait, what? Triple H just dropped Michaels like a bad habit. One moment, they were best friends in DX, and the next? Well, Triple H was the kind of friend who throws you into a faceplant and never looks back. Because, let's be real, friendship is temporary, but ego is forever. And for Triple H, his ego came in the form of a pedigree to the face of his supposed best friend. Sure, Shawn Michaels might have been his partner in crime, but when it came down to it, it was me first, baby, for Triple H. And as Michaels lay there, we all sat in stunned silence, knowing DX was now nothing more than a distant memory. A memory that could be shattered by one selfish decision. 9. Dominik Mysterio betrays Rey Mysterio. Clash at the Castle 2022. The night Dominik Mysterio proved that sometimes your worst enemy isn't a monster, a demon, or a 300-pound Samoan. Sometimes it's the ungrateful little brat you raised and gave a wrestling career to. Let's rewind. Rey Mysterio teams up with his longtime friend Edge to take on Finn Balor and Damian Priest from the Judgment Day. At ringside, Dominik Mysterio, loyal son, standing by, not officially part of the match, but clearly involved. So far, so normal. The match ends, and guess what? Rey and Edge win. Hooray! Everyone's celebrating. Rey's hugging his son. Edge is being Edge. It's a family affair. And then, everything goes to hell. Dominik walks over to Edge and just absolutely destroys his balls with a low blow. No hesitation, no slow build. Just boom, right in the rated R grapes. And just when you think it's over, Dominik turns to his own father and hits him with a clothesline from hell. Rey drops like a bag of guilt and tradition. No words, no explanations, just pure ice-cold betrayal from a kid who 2 minutes earlier looked like he was gonna ask for ice cream after the show. And well, after this heel turn, he ended up dating two of the greatest beauties ever created by Mother Nature. And I would sell my soul to all the demons in hell for that. So, 10-0. 8. Shawn Michaels attacks Marty Janetti. Ah yes, the barbershop, 1992. A sacred place where grudges were aired, hair was cut, and friendships were brutally murdered in broad daylight. Shawn Michaels and Marty Janetti, the Rockers, were supposed to be one of those forever tag teams. The flashy jackets, synchronized entrance, flipping around like gymnasts on Red Bull. They were the picture of 80s tag team energy. But behind the tassels and the forced smiles, something was clearly off. And Shawn, he was done sharing the spotlight. So what did they do? They go on Brutus the Barber Beefcake's little talk show to work things out. Public therapy, wrestling style, and for a second, it looked like it hits Janetti with the sweetest sweet chin music the 90s had ever seen, dropping him like a sack of betrayal. But he's not done. Oh no, because saying we're done in wrestling isn't enough. You have to physically launch someone through a glass window to really seal the deal. So Shawn grabs Marty and hurls him through the damn barbershop window like he's taking out the trash. Glass shatters. The crowd gasps. Brutus probably pees a little. 7. Paul Bearer betrays The Undertaker. Paul Bearer was practically Undertaker's creepy life coach. The urn guy. The eyeshadow enthusiast. The walking funeral home. It's The Undertaker versus Mankind in a boiler room brawl, because clearly no one in 1996 believed in therapy. After beating the hell out of each other across the arena and several industrial zones, the goal is simple. The first one to get back to the ring and grab the urn from Paul Bearer wins. Seems easy. Undertaker stumbles back to the ring like a zombie after leg day, reaches for the urn, and wait. Paul Bearer pulls his hand back. Everyone watching goes, "Wait, what the hell?" Then Paul Bearer smacks Undertaker in the skull with the urn. The man who used to squeal, "Oh yes!" for the Undertaker just said, "Oh no," and sold his soul to mankind. It changed everything. It kicked off one of the most twisted, disturbing, incredible storylines WWE ever produced. The rise of Kane, the family fire, the urn full of secrets. And it all started because one pale man in funeral makeup got a little spicy with his loyalties. Moral of the story, never trust the guy who carries an urn for a living. 6. Sami Zayn betrays Roman Reigns. Let's rewind to the glorious mess that was Roman Reigns' bloodline storyline in 2022. At the center of it all, a skinny, red-headed Canadian goofball named Sami Zayn. Then comes the Royal Rumble 2023. The bloodline is mid-beatdown on Kevin Owens, who's laid out like a crime scene. Roman hands Sami a chair, like a mob boss telling a lackey to make the kill. This is Sami's prove yourself moment. And here it is. The hesitation, the conflict, the tension. Then, bam! Sami swings the chair, but not at Owens. He cracks it across Roman Reigns' back. And just like that, Sami Zayn, the honorary use, the guy who spent 6 months trying to fit in with a family that never really loved him, finally chose self-respect over Stockholm Syndrome. 5. Hulk Hogan leaves for WCW, joins the NWO, and then has the nerve to come home in 2002. If Hulk Hogan is a real American, then goddammit, you guys are a bunch of fake motherfuckers. This is Betrayal in 3 acts. Act 1, The Departure. It's 1993. Hogan's tan is still radioactive, his shirt-ripping quota is still high, and Eat Your Vitamins is still brainwashing kids by the millions. Then suddenly, poof, he disappears from WWE like a blonde ghost with a bandana. Why? Because WCW offered him a truckload of money and creative control, aka the ability to bury anyone who looked at him sideways. He left Vince, left the red and yellow, and left the fans who once wept at his cartoonish leg drops. Just packed up his ego and bolted for Ted Turner's Wrestling Disneyland. Act 2, the villain era. Now here's where things get filthy. Bash at the beach. Hogan struts out like he's coming to save WCW from the evil outsiders. The crowd cheers. Then, swerve of the decade, he drops the leg on Macho Man Randy Savage, aligns himself with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and becomes the most shocking heel in wrestling history. Hollywood Hogan is born. Spray-tanned, ego-fed, wearing black like a wrestling warlord, cutting promos like a washed-up rock star with a grudge. The man who used to stand for America's children was now tagging buildings with NWO for life and beating up their dads. And here's the kicker. It worked. Ratings exploded. The NWO became the hottest act in the business. Hogan's betrayal saved WCW and spat in WWE's face for years. Act 3, the homecoming. Then 2002 rolls around. WCW is dead, NWO is fading, and Hogan, ever the opportunist, suddenly remembers where he parked his legacy. He crawls back to WWE, pretending like the last decade was just a weird dream. He gets cheered, like loudly. The fans eat it up because nostalgia is a hell of a drug. He main events WrestleMania, he shakes hands with The Rock, and suddenly, all is forgiven. But let's be real. This man jumped ship, formed a gang of wrestling anarchists, tried to murder the WWE with ratings, and then came back with puppy dog eyes like, "Hey brother, miss me?" 4. The New Day implodes. 10 years of pancakes, positivity, and unicorn magic flushed down the toilet in one segment. This was supposed to be a celebration. 10 years of the New Day, one of the most beloved factions in WWE history. A trio that gave us bootios, trombones, and more serotonin than most therapy sessions. Fans were ready for hugs, dancing, and maybe a group feel the power for old time's sake. Instead, we got betrayal so personal, it made your ex seems like a good person. Kofi looked at Big E like he was dog dirt on a fresh pair of Air Force Ones. Xavier wouldn't even look him in the eye. Then, Kofi lit the match. You left us. Not because of injury, not because of selfishness, but because, apparently, Big E had the audacity to recover from a broken neck and live a normal human life. And just like that, shove. Silence. Shame. Big E stood there, alone in the ring, while Kofi and Woods shared a smug handshake like two corporate snakes closing a shady deal. 10 years of brotherhood, undone in 10 seconds of pettiness. No chair shots, no beatdown, just cold-blooded rejection. The kind that hurts way more. 3. Paul Heyman betrays CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 41. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, 3 heavy hitters, 1 ring, and the ultimate betrayal. CM Punk, trying to make Heyman betray Roman, he demanded him in his corner, with the favor he had. But well, why the f do you want to fight for the biggest traitor in this industry? He hands Punk a steel chair, looking like a good loyal manager. But we all know by now, loyalty is a foreign concept to Paul Heyman. What happens next? Oh, nothing major, just a low blow to CM Punk. That's right, the man who thought he had an ally is now bent over, gasping for air, courtesy of the man who's supposed to be his biggest supporter. Brutal. But wait, there's more. Just when you think, okay, maybe Paul will stick it out with someone, anyone, he turns his attention to Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, standing there like a proud lion waiting to claim his victory. You know what Heyman does? He gives him the same treatment. Another low blow. Because why not, right? When you've already shattered one man's dreams, why not ruin the others too? Heyman clearly believes in spreading the pain evenly. But here's where it gets rich. Heyman walks over to Seth Rollins, the man who's been lurking in the background this whole time, and hands him the chair. The fallout? Well, it's a beautiful mess. Roman Reigns, stunned. CM Punk, confused. Heyman, satisfied, like a villain who just played the long game and pulled it off to perfection. But don't worry. In true Heyman style, he's not out here apologizing or explaining himself. No, he's too busy relishing in the chaos he's just caused. Because loyalty is overrated, and a smart man knows when to jump ship and side with the winner. 2. Seth Rollins betrays the Shield. The Shield was untouchable. 3 dudes in riot gear wrecking everything in their path, like a tactical unit with a personal grudge against the WWE roster. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins. It was June 2nd, 2014. The Shield had just humiliated Evolution. Triple H, Batista, and Orton were left looking like dads who tried TikTok and pulled a hamstring. The Shield stood tall. Victory, loyalty, brotherhood. And then Rollins turned into a full-blown corporate snitch with biceps. He stood behind Roman and Dean like he was gonna raise his fist and crack. Steel chair straight to Roman's back. The crowd gasped like they just saw their parents fight. Ambrose turned around, still processing, and bam, another chair shot. No hesitation. Rollins wasn't just betraying friends, he was burning down everything he helped build. Why? Because Triple H offered him a suit, a spot in the Authority, and probably a gift card to Men's Warehouse. From that moment on, Seth Rollins became public enemy number 1. He didn't just turn heel, he set fire to one of the most beloved factions in modern wrestling, and he smiled doing it. Dude swung that chair like he was getting paid per vertebrae shattered. The Shield was dead. Rollins was reborn as the Architect. Not a greatness, but a backstabbing with style. 1. John Cena betrays Cody Rhodes and the WWE Universe. John Cena heel in 2025? That's like Santa Claus walking into your living room, punting your dog, flipping you off, and leaving with your cookies. And yet, here we are. After outlasting 5 other men inside the Elimination Chamber, Big Match John was officially set to headline WrestleMania 41. And guess who he was facing? None other than Captain American Nightmare himself, Cody Rhodes. Cody walks out smiling, shaking Cena's hand like, let's do this with honor. Which, looking back, is kind of like shaking hands with a crocodile right before it rolls you into the swamp. Then The Rock appears, because of course he does, dragging Travis Scott along like a walking Spotify endorsement. And The Rock, full supervillain mode, tries to tempt Cody, sell your soul, join me. Cody tells him to go f*** himself, in those exact words, and the crowd goes nuts. We're all thinking, hell yeah, Cody's the guy. And then, Cena hits the low blow heard around the world. No hesitation, no emotion. Just bam, straight to the family jewels. This wasn't a betrayal, this was a full-blown WWE exorcism. Cena didn't just turn heel, he turned supervillain. For 20 years, John Cena preached hustle, loyalty, and respect. Turns out, he finally just chose hustle. For The Rock, for WrestleMania, for chaos. What about you? What is the most unforgivable betrayal for you? Let us know in the comments below. And if you like this video, Be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends, as this helps our work even more. That's all for today, folks. See you in the next one.